Subscribe now and click on the bell icon to never miss learning from Vedantu.
Any change in y makes the graph move up and down, and any change in x makes the graph move left and right. ठीक है? Change in y, change in x. Change in x, horizontal movement, change in y, vertical movement. Very simple stuff. ठीक है? Yes, Nayantra, you are right. चलो cool. Now I'm moving ahead. So ये तो clear हो गया, यहाँ तक आ गया अपने को. Now let me give you a third case. Now third case is this transformation, a times fx. What is a times fx? A times fx is if the base graph is y equal to x square, then look at this. What is this? This is, you multiplied your fx, which is x square, by 2. So it is 2 times fx. What is this? This is half times fx. Similarly, what are these? This is minus 2 times fx, and this is minus half times fx. Just for the sake of example. Basically, just to illustrate that, all these cases are a times fx wale cases. Now let's see what happens. Now this is very, very important stuff. Let's see what happens here. Atreyu, you're right. We'll see it through the trigonometric graphs. That will be more clear from there. Anyways, okay. So let me now start plotting these graphs. देखो क्या करते हैं. Smart out. Now let me plot y is equal to 2 times x square. See what happens. When you do 2 times x square, what happens? Got it? Now if I do y is equal to half times x square, देखना क्या होगा? Half times x square. See? Now let me explain. देखो, your red wala graph is x square. When you multiplied x square by 2, what happened? All the corresponding values of y got multiplied by 2. So look at me in the video. Your graph actually got pulled up as if somebody nailed the graph at origin. Imagine karo, somebody nailed the graph at origin, now started pulling the graph up like this. Okay? The graph sort of becomes thinner. The graph sort of becomes stretched up. The blue graph looks like it got stretched up. Okay? Patla ho gaya. It got, it became thin. But when you multiplied the graph by half, what happened when you multiplied the graph by half? All the values of y, which were there on y equal to x square, got halved, got multiplied by half. So all the values came down. So 1 became half. Here the 1 had become 2. Here the 1 had become half. Got it? Clear? So the graph sort of became flattened up. The graph became lazy, lethargic. It got flattened up. Okay? Now the clear hai? Now, what if? So the graph, if you multiply x square by a fraction, the graph will become flattened up. It will be like pushed down. But if you multiply x square by anything greater than 1, 2, 3, 4, 3.5, whatever, then the graph will be pulled up. But what will happen if I multiply the graph by a minus sign? Minus x square. Look. Minus x square. What happens? The red one is x square. This is minus x square. Nothing. Just simple inversion. It got inverted about x-axis. This red graph and orange graph are exactly the same. It's just they are like mirror images with respect to x-axis. So x square and minus x square are like mirror images with respect to x-axis. Similarly, y is equal to minus 2x square. See, it is the mirror image of 2x square. If I plot y is equal to minus half x square, see, it is the mirror image of half x square. Similarly, minus 2x square is the mirror image of 2x square. Similarly, minus x square is the mirror image of x square. Got it? Is that clear, all of you? Okay. So the behavior is like this. The behavior is, let me just show you. The behavior is like this. Here, है ना? These are the graphs. Y is equal to x square got pulled up, which is 2x square, got pushed down, which is half x square, got inverted, this is minus half x square, this got inverted, this is y is equal to minus 2x square. Got it? Look at this dude. These two dudes. They are like pulling the graph up or pushing the graph down. Pull up, push down. Pull up, push down. Piston movement. It is like the piston movement. This AFX ka transformation is like the piston movement. Either the graph will be pulled up or the graph will be pushed down based on the value of A. If A is more than 1, it will be pulled up. If A is a fraction, it will be pushed down. Got it? Okay. So the graph will be sort of pushed up if in the AFX A is greater than 1, and the graph will be sort of pushed down. The graph will be sort of pushed down if your A is a fractional value less than 1. Okay? Got it? Clear everyone? Can I move ahead? Shubham, how to plot these practically in notebook? बनाया ना अभी मैंने ये. That is how. बस इतना ही चाहिए होता है. You don't have to plot it like point by point. ठीक है शुभम? Why don't you use sliders for Desmos? हाँ, we can use ना. So what is Rishit is saying this. Rishit is asking me to use the sliders on Desmos. एक second ही कहा से. You can use sliders also here. So rather than having a value, you can leave the value variable. है ना? So देखो ये. This is what Rishit was saying. देखो, all the fractional values of x, the graph is below x square. Fraction, 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 then it becomes almost becomes 1. Then as the value increases, the graph keeps becoming thinner. This is a better idea, Rishit. Thank you. I think it will help you visualize better. You can do it at your end also. Okay? See, as soon as the value becomes negative, the graph goes down. And as the magnitude becomes higher, the graph keeps getting thinner, thinner, thinner. Okay? Got it? So this is how the transformation will happen. You can play around with it on Desmos. Cool? ये सब करो आराम से. Take your time and do it. It's because better you visualize. But this should be in your. You should not exert your brain to do it. Okay? Guys, the behavior at infinity that you guys are always talking about, don't worry, in the chapter of limits and application of derivative and definite integration and area under the curve, we will talk a lot about the behaviors at infinity. Don't worry. है ना? तो ये था. This is what I just did. So nothing special here, you know. The value of A. That is how it is changing. We did it anyways. Okay? Now, अब ये देखो. Now look at this. Wait, before I give it to you, let me change your chat option to me only. Now look at this graph. Now it is a mixture of, so basically what you have to tell me, look at this red graph and tell me which one of these A, B, C, D represent the graph. Okay, the graph. Tell me. Okay, lots of options. Okay, let me run the poll because you guys have bombarded me with options. Let me run the poll. See it very carefully. Most of you are right, by the way. Most of you are right. So let me run it. Note it down the options. Dekho, think it piece by piece. First think, how is the graph shifted towards right, then the graph is shifted down. Do it piece by piece. First you have a x in the transformation, then you have a y in the transformation. That's all you need to see. Then let me change the chat options to all of you. Yeah. Dekho, let's do it piece by piece. First of all, your original graph was somewhere here, right? This is what you started with. This is your y equal to x square. First, what you did, you thought, Arey yaar, let me first shift the y equal to x square here. First, you did this. So, what did you do? To shift it towards right, first you did this. X minus 2 ka square shifted it towards right. Agree? Now, then you thought, Arey yaar, isko niche bhi leke jana hai. I have to take it down. Now, to take it down, what you did? You thought, oh, let me change y as well. So, two ways. Remember, I told you either you subtract 2 here, because, oh, sorry, subtract 1 here if you want to take it down by 1, or you transform the y. Another way to remember. So, basically, if you transform y, if you add 1 in the y, then the graph goes down. Remember, when you do minus 2, it goes towards right. In the y, if you do say plus 1, it will go down. So this will become your graph. Or in other words, you can also visualize it by saying this. Minus 1. Got it? So this is a mix of the x and y transformations. Okay? Got it? Prathamesh is saying there are 2 marriage halls near my house, lot of noise. अरे भाई इस इंडिया में क्या करें मैरिज का? नहीं है. ठीक है? सबको बताना पड़ता है ना we are doing marriage. ठीक है, चलो. Okay. So that's the limitation, guys. I am not able to write the options in the poll. We are working on technology to enhance that. I suggest you wear headphones. That is better. Chalo, come. Now tell me about this. I'm again changing your chat options to me only. Okay, guys, come back. Forget about. Look at this graph. Now, your green graph, all of you know, green graph is y equal to x square. The question is, which one of the options is your red graph? So, is it y equal to this? Is it y equal to this? Or is it y equal to this? Or this? I am expecting at least 60 to 70% correct answers here. And my God, I got lots of options. Oh, I'm not able to track so many. But most of you are right. Most of you are right. Deveshwar, no. Think. First of all, the graph is inverted. So, guys, I'm not looking at the chat right now. Okay, I'm just explaining before I give the poll. Just think the graph is inverted. Graph ka inverted hona matlab definitely the coefficient of x square something has a negative sign to it, first of all. And the graph is also looking thinner to me as compared to y equal to x square. Now think, how do I shift the graph up by 2? By adding n So this graph is what? Y is equal to x square plus 2. In other words, you can also write this at, some of you remember it like this. You can also write this as y minus 2 is equal to x square. एक ही बात है. When you do y minus 2, the graph shifts up by 2. Now you think, अरे यार, this graph looks thinner. And if you look at the options, I see 4 as the coefficients. So if I multiply it by 4, the graph will become thinner. So this becomes my graph, the thinner graph, which becomes y minus 2, and I have multiplied x square by what? 4. As soon as I multiply x square by 4, the graph becomes thinner. Now I see, array, our graph is inverted. If I want to invert it, simply multiply by a negative sign. So this becomes y minus 2 is equal to minus 4x square. That is one way of approaching it. Another way. You can think of it as in many ways. Another approach. What do? You first invert it. So let this be the graph. This is the graph of y is equal to minus x square. If this is the graph of x square. Agree? Then you thought, अरे यार इसको थोड़ा thin करते हैं. How do I make it thinner? I can make it thinner by multiplying it by 4. So this graph is what? Y is equal to minus 4x square. Thinner हो गया. Looking at the options, because I see 4. Okay. Now I want to push it up by 2. Now I want to push this graph up by 2. How do you push it up by 2? In this, if I do y की जगह y minus 2, it will get pushed up by 2, right? So to push the same red one up, okay, what do? I will make it y minus 2 is equal to minus 4x square. Got it? So which gives me this option D. Got it? Any doubt? Okay, why 4? Because in options I am seeing 4. Clear hai sabko? So basically now, actually what you have done, in a way, you have now learned to plot quadratic graphs of multiple shapes. Okay? Now, oh Deveshwar, I am not legend, you will be the legend. अभी आगे बढ़ते हैं थोड़ा सा. Now what we will do, देखो ध्यान से. Now guys, एक सेकेंड. हाँ, एक काम करते हैं. Now we are learning to plot any quadratic graph. Now any quadratic function का graph we are planning to do. But how? First step is just follow me. Just keep doing what I'm saying. First complete the square. Remember the method of completing the square. Complete the square. Just complete the square. एक मैं करके बताता हूँ. How do you complete the square? Your aim is to create ये square always. Remember? Somehow you create this x square plus minus 2ax plus a square. You always look towards doing this. इसका example लेता हूँ. X square minus 4x. Had there been a 4, I would be very happy. Because this becomes a perfect square. बच गया कितना? 3. अलग हटाओ. This can be written as x minus 2 का whole square plus 3. And this can be written as y minus 3 is equal to x minus 2 का whole square. अरे बाबा, ये तो हो गया. ये तो we know how to plot using graph transformation. ये तो सबको आता है प्लॉट करना. Do you not know how to plot this? Because of x minus 2, what will happen? The graph will be shifted towards. सबसे पहले ग्राफ 2 पे शिफ्ट हुआ. It is shifting towards at 2. Now because of y minus 3, it will shift up by 3. And this is your graph. This is your graph. This is the graph of y minus 3 is equal to x minus 2 ka whole square. And this point, can you tell me this point? This point will be, the coordinate of this point will be 2, 3. We call this vertex. Any doubt till here? देखो इसको. Suddenly, you have found a way to plot any quadratic graph. Actually, quadratic should be learnt like this. This is quadratic. ठीक है? अभी तुम देखना, you will do entire quadratic just by using this. देखो फिर से, let me explain once again to all of you. सबसे पहले, you remember in 9th and 10th, I think in 8th and 9th, you learned completing the square. So when you complete the square, what you do? You try to create a square. X minus 2 का whole square बन गया. 3 बच गया. 3 was left. So this becomes x minus 2 का whole square plus 3. I took 3 that side to make you understand. Whenever a quadratic graph is written like this, then remember, always keep this in mind. The vertex of the quadratic graph is shifting to 2, 3. 2, 3. ठीक है? Got it? Now, to illustrate this concept further, अभी मैंने इसका एक formula भी बता दूंगा आपको. So this is the graph. 2, 3. Right? Because you could convert this into y minus 3 is equal to x minus 2 का whole square. Now let's take one more example. इसका करो. Try to complete the square, all of you. Try to complete the square. The ones who have done it, it's fine. You plot the graph. Let me tell for others. It becomes, I'm taking minus common outside for the simplification. X square minus 4x minus 5. Just for my simplification. This, I can make a perfect square. If I do x square minus 4x, what do I want? Had there been a 4, maza aaya tha. So I added plus 4, so I'll have to subtract 4 as well. For every sin, there is a repentance. 2 whole square. ये combine होके कितना हो गया? minus 9. Opening it, it can be written like square. बन गया? Awesome. First of all, immediately see, because of this, where is the vertex going? Face downwards. So if you plot the graph will actually be like this, facing down, and its vertex will be at the point 2, 9. This will be the graph of y is equal to minus x square plus 4x plus 5, which you could write as y minus 9 is equal to minus times x minus 2 ka whole square. Got it? Here. So it's a facing down graph. This is the graph. 2, 9 and facing down. Cool. So guys, all that you need to keep in mind is what is the vertex and where does the graph face, up or down. That's it. That is all that you need to visualize a quadratic graph. Okay? Now, let's take one more example before I generalize it for you. Can you tell me the vertex quickly? Complete the square. Most of you are saying D. I think D should be the answer. Let me check. As you guys are solving it, I'm silently solving it here. If anybody has any doubt, you can refer, otherwise you can keep moving ahead. What is the vertex? The vertex now becomes, because of x minus 2, 2, but because of y plus 3. Y plus 3, so shift is down, minus 3. Got it? So this is the answer. But now can you visualize the graph? What is this 2 doing? What is this 2 doing? Actually the graph, if the because of shift, the graph shift towards 2, 3, 2, minus 3, ऐसा कुछ graph होगा. 2, minus 3. So if this is the graph of y plus 3 is equal to x minus 2 ka square, then our graph is actually a bit steeper. Our graph is a bit thinner, like this. This is our required graph, which is actually y plus 3 is equal to 2 times x minus 2 whole square, right? This is what this 2 is doing, which we have learned, right? This 2 is making the graph bit thinner. Got it? So this is the purpose of 2. It compresses the graph. All right. So now you understand all aspects of this graph. So this is the graph. It shifts to 2, minus 3. And this is the graph. Got it? Now, we will not keep completing the square all the time, right? Doesn't make sense. Always we won't keep finding out the completing the square thing. So what we do, now I'm generalizing it, guys. I'm generalizing it, and you have your quadratic standard result coming up now. So Neil, yes, we'll come to that. Don't worry, I'll take more problems. Here, so guys, what we learned in quadratic is this. We learned in quadratic that any quadratic expression like ax square plus bx plus c, if you complete the square, you completed the square with some numerical values in the previous examples. But if you complete the square with these algebraic values a, b, c, you actually get this. If you complete the square, and you did it in your, I think, 10th as well, and you did it in your 11th as well. If you go to your NCERT ka book or R.D. Sharma of 11th, of quadratic, your first 2 pages will be this. Completing the square. Remember, ax square plus bx plus c can be written like this. How is it happening? By the method of completing the square, which you just did using numerical values. This is the method of completing the square. But if this happens, so your y equal to ax square plus bx plus c can be written like this. But can't I write it like this? Can't I write it like this? So basically, your y equal to ax square plus bx plus c can actually be written like this. Agree, all of you? But as soon as you write this, you will say, "Arey Baba, mujhe to pata hai. I know that the vertex of quadratic graph कहाँ हो जाएगा? What is the vertex? Because of x plus b by 2a, the vertex will shift to minus b by 2a. And because of plus d by 4a, the vertex will shift to minus d by 4a. That is it. This is a super duper important result. That the vertex of a quadratic graph is this. Got it? D, all of you know. D is b square minus 4ac. So, based on the value of b, a, d, a, these will take some values. But now you know that now if I give you any quadratic equation, within seconds, you can find its vertex and hence plot the graph. And what will be this a do? What will this a do? A will do what? If a is positive, then the graph faces up. and if A is negative, the graph faces down. And if the magnitude of the A is more, the graph is thinner. If the magnitude of A is a fraction, then the graph is sort of flattened up. That's it. You know everything now. Correct? So basically you have now derived the entire concept of quadratic equations using transformation of graph, because this is what it is. Actually, a quadratic equation is nothing but a transformed version of x square. That's it. So what is a quadratic graph? It's a transformed version of y equal to x square. Got it? Okay. What is discriminant? Discriminant is this, b square minus 4ac. We call it discriminant d. Notation. Okay. To save energy of writing this entire thing again and again. That's it. अरे कोई definition नहीं है देवेश्वर, ठीक है? And didn't you guys do it in 11th? Got it? Now, can you find the vertex of this? Now let's use this to find its vertex. What is the A here? A is 2, B is minus 8, and C is 5. So what will be the vertex? We remember that the vertex is minus B by 2A, comma minus D by 4A. Let's put the values and see what happens. Let's put the values. Minus B is minus of minus 8 upon 2A, that is 2 into 2. Comma, what is D? Can you tell me the D? Please tell me the value of D, please. Upon 4 into 2. Can you tell me the value of D? 24 ki minus 24? Minus 24, sorry, 24. The value is 24. So what will be the vertex? ये कितना हो गया? Plus 8 by 4, that is 2. ये कितना हो गया? Minus 24 by 8, that is minus 3. That's it. 2 comma minus 3. Okay. So that's how you can find the vertex of any quadratic equation. And you know the value of A. A is 2. So that's why the graph will face up. Because of 2, it will be a bit thinner. Correct? Clear? So actually, you can say that, this could be the first session of quadratic as well. You can go reverse as well. Okay, so this was an important screen. Don't worry, the entire notes is anyways available with you, so don't worry. No. Now, अब एक काम करते हैं. Quickly, just to strengthen the concepts. Nothing new, I'm not saying anything new here, guys. Okay. By the way, my session is till what time? It started at 11, right? 11 to 12:45, no? Okay. So this is the vertex, guys. If A is positive, the graph will face up and the vertex is minus B by 2A, comma minus D by 4A. If A is negative, ये किसका ग्राफ प्लॉट कर रहे हैं हम? We are plotting the graph of ax square plus bx plus c. This is the vertex. Guys, in the chapter of functions, it's a very important concept, right? When we will learn about the range, ठीक है? So, अगर आपने range पढ़ा, if you have learned range a bit in functions, you can appreciate. Anyways, I'll teach. But if you're familiar with the term range, you can see that if A is positive, this expression will take all the values starting from minus d by 4a to all the values till infinity. Or you can say that the minimum value of this when A is positive is minus d by 4a. Similarly, you can say if A is negative, then the maximum value of this expression can be minus d by 4a. This is the maximum point if the graph is like this. This is the minimum point if the graph is like this. Okay? So we will use this concept a lot going ahead. Okay? Alright? Now, can you tell me Which of the following graphs represents this? हाँ शुभम, we will do everything. अभी तो मैंने function start ही नहीं किया. I have not started functions at all. I am just building the basics before so that we can go into functions. I am just doing graphs today. That's it. I have not started functions. Okay, guys, don't worry about any book. Just keep doing the material that we are giving you. That's it. हाँ, तो कौन सा ग्राफ है? क्या करोगे? Find the vertex. This is A is 1, B is 1, C is 1. So what is the vertex? Minus B by 2A. बार बार बोलो. Keep writing it again and again. Minus D by 4A. Minus B by 2A. Do it, all of you. देखो ये कितना आएगा. What is D? What is D coming out to be? D is coming out to be minus 3. This is the vertex. Minus half, comma, 3 by 4. So green one is the graph. Okay, this is the correct answer. And the graph will face up because A is positive. है ना? But this brings me to one interesting concept going ahead. Green से याद आया निहारिका को आज Earth Day है. All right. That's why my laptop is not charging. Because it is Earth Day. So it refuses to take any power. All right. Okay. Hey, yaar, ye charging sign. God knows why can't they create good chargers? Now, देखो guys, a quick revision because we have reached till quadratic. So I'll do a quick revision here. So these are the 4 possibilities of the graph. Agree? We are plotting the graph of y equal to ax square plus bx plus c. The graph either faces up or faces down. If the graph faces up, the graph either intersects x-axis or does not intersect x-axis. Now, if you look at the y-coordinate, of the vertex, what is the y-coordinate of vertex? Minus d by 4a. Now, in this particular case, which case I'm talking about? I'm talking about the case where a is positive. If a is positive and if d is positive, then what will happen? If a is positive and d is positive, then this entire thing will become what? If d is positive, then this entire thing will become what? Negative. Agree? So, if d is positive, then this y coordinate of the lowest point becomes negative. Okay? So, it goes below x-axis. Alright, it goes below x-axis. Hence, the graph intersects x-axis. Got it? So, this is the explanation. Similarly, if your d is negative, so negative becomes positive. A is anyways positive. So this becomes positive. So the coordinate of y is positive. Hence the graph is above x-axis or will not intersect x-axis. Now using the concept of vertex, you can actually see when will the graph intersect x-axis and when will it not. And if you remember what you learned, if d is greater than 0, you have 2 real roots. Similarly, you can do the same explanation here as well. Here also you'll get d greater than 0. You have 2 real roots. D less than 0, no real root. D less than 0, no real root. Got it? Clear? Okay. So you could explain everything with simply graphs. है ना? Always remember one thing. If I'll use what I'm saying right now, just listen to it very carefully. If y equal to ax square plus bx plus c is there, and if a is positive, d is negative, then this expression is always positive. Why? The graph is always above x-axis. है ना? This is always positive. In which condition? A greater than 0 and D less than 0. And this is always negative. You can note it down because I will use this in the chapter of functions a lot. If this A negative, D negative, you can see the graph is always below x-axis. So all the values of y will be negative, right? So A negative and D negative. ठीक है? अरे ग्राफ इज फन यार, कुछ तो लाइफ आती है मैथ्स में, अदरवाइज मैथ्स इज सो ड्राई. इफ यू सी मैथ सिंपली थ्रू इक्वेशंस एंड फॉर्मूले, मैथ्स इज सो ड्राई. ठीक है, एटलीस्ट गेट सम लाइफ इन इट यार. माय सिस्टम विल शट डाउन सून. यस इट विल, बट टिल देन आवर सेशन विल बी ओवर, डोंट वरी, बिकॉज ऑल द चार्जिंग पॉइंट्स हियर आर नॉट वर्किंग. चलो लेट्स. सो ये रूट्स तो सबको पता है ना? आई थिंक आई एम नॉट रिपीट. Roots you know, right? Wherever the graph intersects x-axis, these are the roots, right? Which all of you know. Huh? 3 roots here. So this is the summary. These are the cases: A positive, D negative, and A negative, D negative. Simply the case. If D is negative, no real root. Just again a quick revision. And D positive means real roots. This you already learnt in quadratic, but now we are doing it graphically. ठीक है?